I'm excited about this one here live in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. And this man is going to have a very busy week here coming up, especially this coming Sunday, where he defends that TF Crew World Championship. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about an opponent that is worldwide renowned. And I have a feeling we'll talk about this guy may or may not be eating a cheeseburger, if you know what I mean. We'll talk about what this man has done and now how tonight we are, you might want to say, under syndicate siege. And this man is going to talk about that. This man is going to talk about maybe some future guests coming on here to promote Sunday's show. Well, let's just say, ladies and gentlemen, they might want to pay attention to this one very closely. We'll also talk about a guy that we were talking about for the better part of a year when it came to taking this man's championship. Well, let's just say in the middle of that ring. I mean, well, that's what happened. We're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about a milestone number that very few people achieve. And this man, if he gets past that cheeseburger this Sunday, may reach that milestone, and I'll talk about that. We'll also talk about some other things. We'll also talk about some other places that this man has been. We'll also talk about some other matches here coming up this Sunday, and I'm very excited to talk about this show, especially because yours truly is a supporter, a sponsor once again. We love the TF Crew here on Sportswire Radio, and I'm excited. There is no better way to continue the new year, especially here on this platform. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. And I know that since this man is also a proud Miami Hurricanes fan, we're not going to quite do that war chant intro, but we'll do something else instead. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. So, with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, the man that sits on the top of the throne, not just in the TF Crew, but in all of wrestling, a man that is certainly going to give us a syndicate siege tonight. He is the reigning, defending TF Crew World Champion. He is simply put the Puerto Rican Prince, wait for it, Angel Santiago. The champ is here, my friend. How are we doing?
A lot's been going on. We're in 2026. I am the digital vigilant conscientious, but at the same time pretentious man. The only other person who can do a better intro than me to myself is this man right here, Tom Bryce. Every single day, 2 years we've been doing this, going back to back, and here we are again. That's all I gotta say. We gotta make this a series at this point. I mean, here we are again, talking about the same shit.
You're always welcome to come on, but you in the TF Crew, you always come on during this. You don't do the shows every week. I mean, if we're gonna do TF Crew show, I mean, you're in charge right now, coming up this Sunday. So, I mean, if that's a thing, TF Crew is always welcome on Sportswire. You know that especially, but you are here, and you did say something about a run, but I'll get to that later because I do want to talk about that because you and I were speaking about this off there because, like you said, we've been doing these shows for more than 2 years together, and you and I were talking, and I was like, well, we'll bring that up later, but
we've had many conversations.
We had a conversation about that, but I am excited to have you on here, and I want to kick things off for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you, Angel Santiago, the Syndicate, and TF Crew helped get into the mainstream media, Sportswire Radio. Talk to me about what can we expect coming up here this Sunday, Bristol, Connecticut, Syndicate Siege.
The best part I will say about this company that I am champion of is we are different from every other independent brand that's out there. If you want to talk about noir. You want to talk about crime. You want to talk about a film that's actually different from everything else you're seeing in the movies, all this glitz, glamour, 3D, IMAX, all this bullshit. That's the TF crew. That's what we are. We're down to the dirt, grungy shots. That's who we are. We're having NWA superstar Wrecking Ball Legursky, who I've super kicked in the face, on our show this Sunday. And we're also having Cheeseburger, the Ring of Honor New Japan star, also on our show, facing yours truly for the World Championship. But at the end of the day, what really matters about the show is that you're going to see the Syndicate. Me, Jimmy, Kobo, it's us. We're there. We're going to be there. Jeremy's on vacation, but that's okay. I paid for his ticket. Him and Roxanne are doing their own thing. That's all right, though. That's cool. He was like, I need a day off. I need a vacation. I'm like, well, who am I to say? I mean, that's my guy. You know what I mean? And on top of that, you don't have to see Christopher Black or Doc Holliday because they're both banned from the building. Woohoo!
Whoa, ladies, let's get that straight. Repeat that again, because my ears may need to be checked. Angel Santiago, did you just say that one man that's in the chat is banned and another guy that was supposed to have been here but will eventually be back on here in the next week is banned from the building this Sunday? You might want to tell us those names again?
So there was an incident at the end of last event. We had a great event all the way through. I retained my world title. I choke Rad Dad out. Game overed in the center of the ring. Did I punch him in the balls? No. Did I hit him with a weapon? No. I just won. And then all these jabronis had a problem with me just I mean, like, hey, if you see a parent yelling at their kid, are you going to be like, don't do that to your kid? No, let the parent do their business. And
my mom was in the chat for the show I did beforehand with Bastion Rose frontman Austin Freak, and I can tell you there was plenty of times still to this day that my mom would still like to put the old soap in the mouth. So
there you go. But nobody's going to tell her any different, just like nobody should have told me different how I was parenting Christopher Black. But then all of these wrestlers come out of the back and they threw a chair at Jimmy's head and they beat the hell out of Kobo, and I ran. I got out. I was smart. But just, it's ridiculous. So you know what? Let's break it down. Caster, you want to get your big ass involved? Cool. You're going to be in a gauntlet match for the #1 contendership for the Tomorrow's End Championship. Is this still an opportunity? 100%. But you're going to have to go through every single person to have to get to that end. And when inevitably you don't get to the end and it's like, I don't know, Be Insane or Rhea Silver that ends up winning, which I'm totally fine with, then you're just going to have to cry yourself to sleep. That's not my issue. Number 2, Doc Holliday. I don't know why you were out there. I thought we had an agreement that, you know, I'm not going to tread on your turf. You're a scary dude. I'm not tiptoeing around that. And I thought that we were just going to be kumbaya. We just don't come in contact. All of a sudden, he comes out to try and whoop my ass. Screw that. Doc Holliday, goodbye. My lawyer, Tom, called me. It went through today. You are banned from the arena. Similarly banned to the arena is that traitorous moron, Christopher Black. He's out. He's done. Goodbye. The contract is signed. Nope. Legally, he cannot be in the building. Now, as for Gabe Sayers and Mikey Anarchy, that fat fuck and that stupid twink, I'm telling you right now, the only reason they're getting a tag title opportunity is because they beat the completely unstoppable machines. But I will tell you,
they got a big win. You know, they went through a lot there. I mean, Louis Sr. and Louis Jr., I mean, they went through a lot there.
I will give you the minor credit where credit is due on that one. But if you think, Tom, that I'm going to have no involvement in that match, then you're probably right. Because why would I ever want to interfere in a Gabe Sayers and Mikey Anarchy match? So maybe I'll just, we'll let that one speak for itself.
You've been in the ring with Mikey Anarchy and Gabe Sayers before. You know the deal. You know how it goes.
Yeah, you know, like they're going to have their match. And, you know, if the murder need, you know, an assist, you know, call me D Wade. I'll throw it up. So... But they may not need it. They may not need it, so it's fine. Less work for
okay, I get that. So to make it clear, Doc Holliday, we're not going to see him Sunday. He's not going to be there in Bristol.
Nope, not allowed to be in the building. That dude scares me.
Well, and Christopher Black, a man that was a big part of your syndicate for such a long time, and obviously some of the things you said, it seems, I guess, from your vantage point, addition by subtraction.
Yes, and like to be honest with you, I mean, like, you saw what happened last event. Jeremy is now a part of the syndicate.
I have the footage here. Yep.
Why would I not want to trade someone out like Christopher Black, who, I mean, what championships has he won? What has he done? Like, what has he done in this industry? And like, he's just so goody two shoes about everything, and he doesn't want to like stomp on people and punch people in the face when the bell's not rung. Like, it's just ridiculous. And and frankly, and it all culminates to the fact Christopher Black has gone soft, and I don't want somebody soft at my wrestling event, so he's gone too.
Well, obviously, he is a man that we've talked a lot about in the past, Christopher Black, because of his ability, and in some ways, he was sort of a protege of yours, and he's a guy that is obviously someone that was a loyal person in your group, but I guess, obviously had different feelings. But I put the footage up from what happened at a Day of Atonement, and to remind people of what happened here back in September. And this is where you had reigned supreme after all the talk about you and Rad Dad. Rad Dad went through everything to get this opportunity, but right in the middle of the ring, you put him asleep. And obviously, we see the syndicate has come out, and you're celebrating, and just everything seems to be going according. There's Kobo, there's Mr. Black at the time, there's Jimmy Controversy, a man who's been here many times in the past, and everything seems to be hunky dory. You're celebrating, and this is where things kind of unravel here shortly.
It's just simple, though. It's just simple. Look, I'm just asking a very simple ask here. We allow Jeremy in. Look at how good looking this guy is. Look at how beautiful he is. The I-95 champion. It's amazing. He's amazing. He's a beautiful man, and he is jacked. And that's why, look, and I just asked him to just start throwing some kicks at Rad Dad. And then and then I was like, you know what? Christopher Black should get involved in this. Like, you should put some boots to ass on this guy. And just, he wouldn't listen.
I guess maybe Christopher Black felt that after what had been done to Rad Dad, and he was lying in the middle of the ring, helpless, that maybe it was too much for him. Maybe he had a conscience. You did say that he doesn't like to do things after the bell has rung, and maybe he felt that this wasn't the right idea. I guess. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Conscious is a really interesting way to put that, because I only know the people who have consciences in this TF crew have never won the world championship. And that's what I could say for every other champion that's in Connecticut. So they want to put conscious above legacy. I have a legacy. Hold up, this is my favorite part. Boom! Right in the nuts.
Well, that's definitely, sometimes you feel like a nut, and Christopher Black is not feeling his nuts right there, ladies and gentlemen. You have pushed him to the side, and that's how you feel about him. There is syndicate members working. And here comes the locker room. There is the Heartstopper Gabe says. There is Mikey Anarchy, man. There is Doc Holliday, and yeah, Doc Holliday is certainly an interesting guy. There you see Caster, who went through a lot with Leonidas right before your match, getting a huge victory, and that's where the show ends. And that's kind of just for the audience to let everybody know why you've made those decisions. One of the reasons why, champ, that you're able to have made these announcements you just made before is Gabe Sayers didn't read the fine details. If you beat Rad Dad, which you just did, Rad Dad Rally Belmont, you now control this show coming up here this Sunday, and that's the reason why you're able to unilaterally make these executive orders.
Well, you see, what had happened is I realized, like, why am I going to go into a 2 out of 3 falls with Rad? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, that just doesn't help me personally, Like, that just, like, what UFC fight do you know where you got to knock the guy out twice? Like, that ain't make no sense. That didn't make no sense.
It's a good point. I was in dinner with somebody the other day, and we talked about this. All right, I'll give you that.
Right. So then I was like, yo, I'm going to take Jimmy off. At the time, I would take Christopher Black off. I'm taking Kobo off, and you could take all of our fans and just fuck off. And Gabe, being a smart-ish guy in the moment, knew that if he didn't sign the new contract to bring back the syndicate and have my match be a single fall, that we would leave. And it just so happened that I added to the contract that I get to run the event in the event that I win. And look where we are.
There you, I mean, there it is. I mean, that's what we have. We have Syndicate Siege here coming up. And before we get into anything else, I want to promote the show because it's going to take place once again in the Lincoln Room here in Bristol, Connecticut. So Bristol, Connecticut's not just famous for being the home of ESPN, it's also the home of the TF crew. And bell time is at 3 o'clock. Doors open 2:30, which really means get there by 2. It's only $15 a ticket, so you should really go out there and buy a ticket. Yours truly has sponsored the show, and I hope that you join me in supporting the guys. Even if you're not going to be there, follow them on Instagram, check them out on YouTube, Facebook. They do have a Facebook account, and it's going to take place here this Sunday. Also, shout out to Trips Treasure Collectibles, where you can find some of the best cards, collectibles, and more in the Connecticut area. Make sure you not only give them a follow, but give them a visit. So you can.
Yeah, I don't really know who the other sponsor is there, the question marks. I'm very confused by that. But there's another person sponsoring us, but
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't. I have no idea. I mean, I
said this is the marketing team. That's up to them.
Well, Sean Jovi was here. Was a few funny things to say about Rad Dad. Actually, when he came on here, I announced just basically off the bat that I was going to sponsor the show, and then everybody kind of had a laugh in the chat and thought I was joking. But no, I really did.
Yeah, that's not even you. You're not even the question marks there. I don't know who this other person is.
I know some people actually are like, no, I don't know, but we'll get to that later. All right, I understand those things. So obviously, Christopher Black, you had your reasons. The Syndicate's now addition by subtraction. But let's talk now about what's ahead. Now, I'll talk about Cheeseburger in a few minutes. And the reason why I want to talk about what's ahead is that you have had an amazing run as champion here in TF Crew. You've beaten a whole list of different people across anywhere, of all different types of wrestling. You've done a lot of different things. You've even defended this championship in different states, but there's a really, I think, important stat that we need to talk about here should you retain your championship this Sunday, which I think, and I'm pretty sure I can say this on here safely, is very few champions in wrestling these days get an opportunity to do this. But if you're able to get past Cheeseburger this Sunday, you're going to be looking at 1,000 days as the TF Crew world champion. You have to talk to me about what that would mean to you to have 1,000 days and counting as the TF Crew world champion.
1,000 days as champion. 1,000 days, possibly marking one of the greatest title reigns to ever happen. Possibly the greatest title reign to ever happen in the entire sphere of Connecticut. Now think about this as well. Don't even just talk about my dominance, how many people I've beaten, how I'm the guy who didn't just keep Obey down for 3. I kept him down for 10. I'm not only that guy, I'm also the guy who beat Mikey Anarchy in the first ever dog collar match in Connecticut history. But I'm not just that guy. I'm the guy who retained my TF Crew world title twice against Rad Dad. The second time I choked his ass out. Now, this is what I will say to you right now. All of these things encompassing, look at what the business we've done. Look at how every show, we've had 3 shows in a row with 100+ people. Before that, we were selling just as many tickets, just about right under 100. Throughout my entire title reign, the TF Crew has only gone upwards. Not only that, but there is one thing that nobody is saying. People will call me a coward. People will call me a pussy. People will say that I'm small. But you know what they won't say? That they're bored. And that's not what a lot of champions can say. That after almost 1,000 days as champion, not a single fucking fan in that crowd is bored of me. They love it. They may love to hate me. I love to hate them. But at the end of the day, they paid their hard-earned money to watch me beat the shit out of all their heroes. And it's not going to change Sunday, and it's not going to change for a very long time. Shit, we talking about 1,000? I'm looking at 2,000.
Whoa, 2,000. I mean, you're really talking about rarefied air when it comes to 2,000. I mean, that's the likes of Bruno Sammartino. I mean, Bob Backlund fell short to 2,000 days. I mean, you're talking about very few people in wrestling history, ladies and gentlemen, get a 2,000-day run as a world champion. You know, 1,000 days, sure, Roman, Hulk got there, Bob Backlund. I mean, I'm sure there's other names.
Right now, I'm a part of the 1%. I want to be a part of the 0.01%.
You know, I was going to say that. I mean, you know, it's one thing to be a part of the 1%, but it's another thing to be a part of the 0.1%. And you have that opportunity. And if you do that this Sunday against the man, and you talked about some great names that you've gone up against, some great names that you've beaten, you've done different things all across, not just the state of Connecticut, like you said, but across the United States and what they've done in different places, different types of wrestling. But now what is staring and standing in front of you for history is a man that exceeds all of those opponents that you've gone up against and defeated or have retained your championship. And a man that is Cheeseburger, a man that is worldwide renowned, ladies and gentlemen. This is a guy, you're talking about Ring of Honor. You're talking about all over, up and down the United States. This is a man that has trained people, has his own dojo. This is a guy that everybody knows in some way or another. And this is your biggest opportunity yet. And this would cement a legacy. You know, when you came on here a few times over the past year, we talked about Rad Dad's legacy. We talked about his legacy and what he's done, the GBYWN, GTS, and if he took your championship, right? But now it's your legacy, Angel Santiago, because your legacy is going to be permanently cemented this Sunday. The Lincoln Room, doors open 2:30, bell 3 o'clock. If you get past Cheeseburger, your legacy is going to permanently cemented as a man that goes into that 1,000-day category. But first, you've got to get through Cheeseburger to cement that legacy.
To be the best, you have to beat the best. And I am prepared to take on the best of any competition that I am against for my next 1,000 days. I will continually take on any challenger that stupid motherfucker Gabe Sayers wants to put in front of me, because at the end of the day, he is running out of cards to play. At the end of the day, he has run out. All of his boys. I sent Mikey Anarchy to the goddamn tag division. I put Obey at home. Christ, Rad Dad doesn't even have his match announced for this event right now because nobody cares about those people. They care about me. They care about the world champion. I have basically ingested all of these different names, and I've created a superstar in myself by consuming all these other stars.
That's some interesting points that you made. And I know you've been on here several times in the past, and we talked about those names you mentioned, Mikey Anarchy, Obey, certainly Rad Dad. But when it comes to someone like Cheeseburger, that has wrestled in places like New Japan, that has certainly been a part of Ring of Honor, that has his own dojo, I mean, how do you prepare for somebody like this?
It's so funny, because you have asked the same question every single time I've been on this podcast.
I know.
How will I get past this next ladder? And every time that I've answered that question, I've answered it the same way, because I'm just that goddamn good. At the end of the day, I am undisputably that good, because I went against Obey and everyone thought I'd lose. And I went against Jeff Nova and everyone thought I was going to lose. And I went against Mikey and Rad Dad and all these different people.
But don't you think that I agree with you. Listen, those you've gotten past all those guys. Jeff Nova, Mikey Anarchy, Obey, Rad Dad. But I kind of think Cheeseburger, though, with all due respect to those names, many of them have been here on Sportswire, but this is different. Cheeseburger is a guy that's, like you just said it, going up the ladder. This ladder that you go up, this rung in that ladder, it puts you in the stratosphere. It puts you there where, yeah, maybe, you know what? If they're getting through Cheeseburger, maybe we'll throw AEW guys at you. Maybe we'll throw WWE guys at you, because those names, like I said, are great. Obey, Nova, Anarchy, even Rad. But Cheeseburger, he's the next rung. And that's why, to me, it's different if you get past him versus those names.
Isn't it so poignant that somebody that Cheeseburger looks up to so much, and Hiroshi Tanahashi just retired on January 4th? Doesn't it make it so simple and so easy to take somebody who's in not only an emotional state because of their sensei perishing in the eyes of him, but also the fact he's distracted? At the end of the day, he is not the guy that was in Ring of Honor and in New Japan, not because he has lost any step or any talent. The guy is clearly very talented. Look at all the other companies he's wrestled across. The Pro Wrestling Magic, I just saw him on a show.
I know Steve Off. Yes, Pro Wrestling Magic. Wrecking Ball Legursky is from there. Many years ago, I interviewed Steve Off before he took over the company. So, yeah, absolutely. Know it very well.
There you go. He's still going hard, but at the end of the day, he is going from place to place, place to place. He's lagged from the road. He's lagged from all this wrestling. Tom, I haven't wrestled since I super kicked Wrecking Ball Legursky in the face. And that's intentional. I've healed my body. I've taken care of my wounds. I am in the best shape I've ever been in my entire life. At 23 years old, brother, I right now am in the best shape, best looking in my entire life. In any form of the Prince, you will see the best Prince this Sunday. And you will
And
not see the
that's
best
a
version of
great
Cheeseburger.
point that you made. And I hadn't thought about that in all the times that you've been on here, champ, is that your advantage going into this match this Sunday is not so much that you've gone out there and competed as many times recently as Cheeseburger, but you've been taking your time knowing that this was going to be put in front of you, knowing what was at stake, that you're 100% ready to go. Whereas your opponent, he's been out there countless times since the last time you were out there. And that's why you have the advantage. And that's why you are going to surpass that 1,000-day milestone after Sunday.
Amen to that. At the end of the day, after I faced Wrecking Ball Legursky, I went home and I trained and I got better and I ate well and I enjoyed my holiday and I started to fill my body up with the nutrients, support, and rehab, frankly, that my body needed after doing all those matches. Guess what Cheeseburger did this morning, Tom? He woke up and he said, "Oh, fuck, I'm facing the Puerto Rican Prince." Today is when he realized his nightmare starts. I've lived in it. I've been here. I've been grinding, and I will stay grinding because this is going to be the year of me, just like you said, where I elevate myself to 1,000 days, where I put myself in the top 1% of all pro wrestlers. And any goddamn person in Connecticut can say anything they want, but at the end of the day, none of them have had a champion that's more entertaining, more dominant, and just good looking than me.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, you have been here many times during this run, and there's no question that there has been different tasks. But I think in terms of where you've evolved with this run as champion, I think that that's a different, each time it's been different. And I think what is staring in front of you is far different, and how you've evolved in ring, in training, in experience will provide you well coming up for this Sunday. And like you said, listen, I mean, you get past Cheeseburger, I'm dead serious about this. Maybe next is AEW superstars. Maybe next is Impact Wrestling superstars. Maybe, who knows, WWE superstars that are out there that are on the independent circuit. I mean, there's plenty of guys that I see out there that are in the independents, that were in these companies. And maybe once you get past Cheeseburger, that's the only competition for you at this point. There's going to be no more Jeff Novas. There's certainly going to be no more Rad Dads after what we saw a few months ago. There's certainly going to be, as you stated, no Mikey Anarchies. I mean, so really for you, if you get past Cheeseburger, you're telling us it's not a matter of if. It's going to be when that bell is rung Sunday night, the living room in Bristol, Connecticut. It's only going to be a matter of AEW and bigger elsewhere superstars who are going to be next in line, and you're going to knock them down and keep your run to TF Crew's world champion, and not just being 1,000-day champion, but like you said, a 2,000-day champion.
You're 100% right. And what happens after those AEW and WWE guys? What happens when I slaughter them too? What happens when they finally accept the inevitability that I'm the best wrestler in the world? What happens?
You do what The Rock does and stay in movies. You're a film guy. I don't know. You tell
me. Well, you might have just hit it on the head. I mean, what am I doing this show? I'm the guy booking everything. Maybe that's the next step. Maybe Gabe Sayers has to step aside and just let the Puerto Rican Prince do what he does best, entertain the audience while making them love to hate me, and I just make them cry at the end.
Well, you said something interesting, and this has been talked about here in the past with you, as we are here with Angel Santiago. He is the TF Crew World Champion. He will be in action here in the main event of TF Crew's latest show called Syndicate Siege. It takes place Sunday in the living room in beautiful Bristol, Connecticut. The doors open at 2:30. Billy, get there by 2. Bell is at 3 o'clock, and you're going to see a slew of opponents, but the match that everyone's going to be talking about right now is the main event for Angel's Championship. That is him against the world-renowned Cheeseburger. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voiced figuratively and literally all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters here on Sportzwire Radio. But, you know, you make an interesting point, because the buck usually stops with the champion, and we know as the TF Crew is gone, it's usually with the champion. You're the guy success and this rapid growth. I agree with you. TF Crew shows, anytime you guys are out there, it's 100 people or more, and it's sellout after sellout. And the shows, the crowd was so into it. You guys had a great crowd. You had a great group of wrestlers out there in the ring. No question, TF Crew continues to move up. But really, then maybe Gabe Sayers should just step aside and after what you've said tonight, and his seems to be continuing not reading the fine details and not trying to put obstacles, knocking him down, and he has his own issues. Maybe that his heart should stop running things in TF Crew permanently, you think, or is this just a one-time deal?
I think that he has to let it go. I think he has to accept he's lost the company. Think about it. When we were at the beginning of the syndicate, we had like Lucas Greifswald and Christopher Black. Who are these guys? Now I have the I-95 champion, Jeremy Lacroix. I have the guy who's wrestled Necro Butcher and Tommy Dreamer in Jimmy Controversy and lived to tell the tale.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I have Kobo. He's Kobo.
Well, he's Kobo. He's moving up. Listen, everybody has to move up there, Rob. And there's no question. Listen, Jeremy Lacroix is a very, very accomplished wrestler. He's a talented. He's a phenomenal talent. I agree with you completely. He's a phenomenal talent. I know Jimmy Controversy. He's been here many times. I know his story. So what you've done in order for you to stay on top is you've reimagined, you've rebuilt this syndicate. Because you talked about different guys that have been here in the past, but what you've done to ensure the TF Crew's growth, but also the syndicate's growth, is reimagine with members that can do different things.
Yep. And not only that, I've taken all these people who were leeching off of me, and I finally created my own Legion of Doom. I finally created my group of people who just understand me. And I'll tell you this, and you can watch on Sunday and you'll see the footage. Don't worry. I'll tell our editors to get that out quicker. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure, my guy, that there's going to be another member of the syndicate that comes to us at the Syndicate Siege. And when you see who it is, you'll be like,
Whoa. I got to do the timeout. You mean to tell me that there may be another syndicate member that we may see Sunday afternoon?
I'm not saying that there's not going to be. I'm not saying there's going to be. I'm just saying that, be open to the idea that it's not just going to be me, Jeremy, Jimmy, and Kobo. I feel like that there's some room for some talented, I don't know, maybe Southern, I guess, would be kind of the way I'd want to put it. If I were to expand this group in that way, but I don't know. I'll figure it out, I guess, when people get there.
Well, let's get to the chat. That's obviously something I'm sure we will talk about. And I will point out for the audience that we think Gabe Sayers to be here before Sunday.
Who knows, though?
Well,
who knows? Truly,
last week he was sick. He had the flu, and the flu was going around. Or maybe because of you running Syndicate Siege, maybe that's an omen of things to come. I don't know.
Flu, depression.
Well, it is first of the year. Everybody realizes, oh no, my taxes are due soon, and maybe the Christmas money or the bonuses money has run out. Maybe I don't know. Well, maybe I guess Gabe's going to have to. Doesn't he have to by law? It's April 15th. People have to realize they get their taxes in the mail. I just saw it with my one buddy today. I was in his house in Manhattan, and I saw the tax form on the table. So maybe Gabe is now depressed. The bonuses. I don't know. I don't know. Gabe will have his reasons. We expect him to be here before Sunday.
As long as he pays my money, I'm cool.
Well, you know what? I'll let him handle the money. I'll let him deal with paying the roster. I'll let him handle that. He's got a lot of other problems out there. He's got a match, and he's got obviously some things to say about what you said tonight.
Two of the most talented wrestlers to ever come through the TF Crew as a tag team in a match where the two guys who are the best wrestlers in the two of the best wrestlers in the company are also bloodthirsty, and they get a hardcore match. This dude just doesn't think. He doesn't think.
Well, maybe that's just he likes to certainly go out there, and I have his poster and
you tell me, Mr. Bryce, do you think it's going to be obese and fucking heart attack, or the actual best tag team in the company? Seriously, look at this crap. You have obese boy on the bottom right, you have heart boy on the top versus two wrestlers, legit.
No, I agree with you that they're obviously they're a completely different team than Gabe and Mikey, but Gabe and Mikey, they are best friends, and they obviously feed off each other. They have chemistry. I guess that would be their point as to why they could win coming up this Sunday. But
you know what? You hit it on the money. If Mikey Anarchy and Gabe Sayers could channel the energy of friendship, like use the power of friendship to boost them to the tag titles, I'm all for it. But
I've seen this story, but I've been doing this a long time. I mean, I've seen it before. I mean, that's going to be their case. Now, obviously, look, if Gabe is here Thursday, he'll talk about it. I mean, until then, I can't say anything other than maybe that they've planned this. They've scouted their opponents, and they'll take care of business. They've been around the block. I mean, that's the only thing I could say. I mean, but if Gabe is here, if he's here before Sunday, well, I'm sure I have a few thoughts on it, and I'm sure you won't be tuning in because you'll be somewhere, hopefully on a beach before Sunday, and you'll be getting ready for your match
in the gym, grinding.
Okay. Do it. Fair enough. It is that week. Okay, I'll give you that. Let's get to the chat. They want to say hello. I want to talk about some other things you're up to outside of TF Crew. Zilla's here first and wanted to say hello to you. Thank you, Zilla. Thank you, Zilla, for being here earlier. Speaking of somebody that is upset with you because they've heard the comments that you had said about them.
Oh, it's Farty Malardi.
Doc Holliday is here and wanted to say that Zilla's way cooler than you, and he's definitely grumpy again, unusual. And do we expect the same commentary team that we had on a Day of Atonement?
Oh, good question. Andreas is our main commentator now. Okay. He is our main commentator.
Oh, will Doc now be on commentary after what you said about Doc?
You know what? I will truly say.
Doc was rooting for Rad.
If he wants to do commentary, that's his own business.
They were an interesting combo. They were definitely an interesting combo. They reminded me of
like getting that dude's way.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm not getting in Doc's way. They did remind me of a buddy cop combo. But that hello is meant loosely. Sean Jovi wanted to say hello. Thank you to the resident rock star. Also, hello, and also. By the way, nice shades, by the way. Sean Jovi wants to say nice shades, which the shades are different from previous appearances on here. And he does like the shades. And Zilla's asking Doc Holliday what his issues with you, but Doc is going to answer that shortly. What? And he also wants to say vacation and a yes. I used to hate this, but a vacation is nice. So he's obviously referring to you as the twink.
Yes, I know, and he likes vodka frita.
He's happy about the vacation. I would have thought he would have been mad, but he also wants to say further.
He's gonna go kill people, bury them, and drink their blood. I don't want any part of his vacation. My vacation is
that have come on here on Sportzwire. I feel like that's somebody else. I think that's like somebody else. But how dare this twink keep on watching for my response? Boy. Also. He's just kidding, by the way. Save some for me. Don't beat up Rad Dad. Just kidding. He said just kidding. Because obviously, Mr. Jovi came on here. When he was here on Christmas, one of the things he had talked about was Rad Dad. So that's something that he will certainly talk more about in the future. Well, we don't even know what he's doing on Sunday. I mean, do you think Rad maybe won't show up instead? Or do you think he has
to? All right, I'll say this. I'll say this.
Yeah. Don't incriminate yourself. And don't incriminate me at this point now, because I was in Parade magazine a couple of days. So I think we're both.
No, you're the top notch. This is why you're like the only radio show that I do. You're the only radio show I've ever come back to twice. So you're the only podcast I've ever come back to twice.
I got a lot of pressure now, and you said it's a lot of pressure on me.
No, it's true, but I'm just saying this. Rad Dad is booked on Sunday.
Okay.
But I'm not saying it's for anything having to do with my title, because it's not.
Okay. Well, we know that. You got Cheeseburger. I mean, that's a done deal.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not even saying number one contendership. I basically want to ruin this guy's life. So when you see the match that's going to be announced for him and you see the inevitable doom that he's in, it's going to be great.
Now, Rad will be back on it. I spoke to Rad a couple days ago. He is looking for his return to Sportswire, and I'm sure he will talk about his feelings on your actions and what his actions will be on Sunday. So I have a feeling we'll be hearing about this very soon. So
I'm sure we will.
We will, and Rad will certainly hold serve. And congratulations on winning your match to become the new real TF Crew World YouTube Champion, the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago, and he deserves it, and he earned it. Well, he did earn it. You basically you tapped him out in the middle of the ring. And follow the TF Crew on Instagram. We're going to put the YouTube link up here in a minute. And also, Zilla wants to be an honorary member of the syndicate.
$200. $200, and you can be a member of the syndicate for a day. a
I'll
day.
tell you what. Instead of that, what we will say is, if you'd like to hit the sub button for the TF crew, that would be a better idea, and everybody can join it, even if Angel doesn't
You know
like you
what,
right now.
Zilla?
Okay?
If you buy a ticket to the show to support us, I will make you an honorary member of the syndicate for that day. There's
Well,
my
I can
there's
put the
my
link up for
marketing
that in a
pitch.
little bit. We will put the
Who
link
said
up
I
for that.
wasn't a promoter?
What we expect to have, like I said, Gabe is expected to be here before Sunday, and you mentioned the one guy Caster, and he is also
Yeah, that one
expected to be
guy.
here. That one guy Caster, he was expected to be here. We still expect him to be here. He obviously maybe he had some other plans because of what you said tonight. So we hope that he comes back. We still hope that he
Sounds
comes
like
back.
that all these TF crew guys who are supposedly like the good guys in our situation just seem to keep ghosting this amazing host.
No, I think listen. I think Gabe was. Everybody had the flu last week. A lot of
I'm
people. Right,
sure
my brother had
I
the
didn't have the
flu.
flu. I was in the gym. I was in the
Well,
gym
you
taking
you have.
vitamin C
Well,
like a
I'm
grown
going to tell
man.
you what you have. You have as a friend of mine as a former football player for the University of Texas, and you have what's called grind flu, meaning that you just go out there regardless. That's the term grind flu. So listen,
Hey, you know what? I like that. I like that. That's a
you
cool
have
term.
grind flu. You have a grind flu. So you have
I like
that.
it.
We'll come back to the TF crew. I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about a couple things that you've been up to. And speaking of Pure Vanguard Wrestling, I've talked about them in the past a few times with Gabe. I've talked about them with Caster. I've talked about them with Rad Dad. But can you tell us about maybe Pure Vanguard Wrestling and maybe when we can see you and what's going on there?
Hell yeah. This year, Vanguard has announced all of their dates. I will tell you what happened last time on Pure Vanguard Wrestling. Not by myself, I unfortunately had
I
Gabe
did
Sayers
see
and
that match.
Caster.
I watched it. Yes, I did. I wanted to
Yeah,
talk
that
about
was
it. Go
fine,
ahead.
I guess. But we lost because did I get pinned? Nope. One of those two dummies got pinned. So then at the end of the match, me and my amazing coach, who has actually coached me a lot, even for my TF Crew World Title match that's going to be on Sunday, Broadway Joe, who gives me a 5 out of 5
Yes.
stars at being a pro wrestler, will
There you are.
whoop.
Put the footage up.
See, okay, that was not fair. But see, Stinger Splash, yeah, Joe's like go for a whip. That he's 6'6", 385.
Yes, I know Wrecking Ball Legursky from many. You mentioned Pro Wrestling Magic, and I remember him when he was in Pro Wrestling Magic back in 2021. So his name.
I think he's making his return there too.
When I will let you speak in a minute, but when I saw his name on your show, I just was like, wow, what a small world in wrestling, because I spoke at length about him 5 years ago, and 5 years later, here we are in your company.
I got to admit, he is a great performer in the ring.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I said before, I had to go into recovery and rehab after the match happened. He is a large man that I would not like to ever be in the ring with again. That was not fun for me. No, sir. But
you're not in the ring with him, though, coming up in the TF crew, but Pure Vanguard Wrestling, you'll be back in.
Well, Pure Vanguard Wrestling, though, I have disaligned myself with the TF crew. I'm done. Like you said, legacy moment. This is the year for legacy of the Puerto Rican Prince. We keep coming back to that, but that's exactly the point I've been trying to make in this whole time. It'll be me and Broadway Joe, and I'm going for a championship this year in Pure Vanguard Wrestling. They have had me there every single event since the first one that they've had me in June. And every single time I've showed up, I've showed out. I've wrestled people like Security Inc. I beat the hell out of Rad Dad again. And I wrestled the NWA star, Wrecking Ball Legursky. And I'm telling you now, once I foo-foo myself out of the way with getting done with Gabe Sayers and Caster, I am going for Pure Vanguard Wrestling Gold. Because did you know I am the most viewed reel in Pure Vanguard Wrestling history? Number one.
I'm not surprised about that. And obviously, listen, I saw what Broadway Joe did for you, and he got you right out of there quicker than a New York Minute. And I could see for your sake, and Wrecking Ball Legursky, well, he definitely made sure Caster wasn't getting up. And yeah, I could see why Broadway Joe made sure to get out of there, because that's you didn't want to be where Caster was. And then there
you go. Look at that.
Certainly. Who is channeling his own version of Joe Namath, Willie Joe, back in '69, and the only difference is he didn't need to guarantee it; he just went out there and did it. And
look at how fast he's moving, though. For like, look at how fast he's moving. Everyone wants to call him this like old man, and he just be beating the hell out of Caster in the center of that ring. I love it.
Maybe that's why Caster is not here on Sportswire tonight. I don't know.
No, I do know. Yeah,
Who knows?
Broadway did
But
actually bust him up pretty bad. I don't think Castor wrestled again till MMW recently. So there you go. I
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
think something
I
else
yeah,
just
because
spiking.
he and I spoke about that. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, so that's exciting though that you now we know what you've done in TF Crew, right? We know what this run, this amazing milestone that you have in front of you, but now you want to add more to your resume, and a company like Pure Vanguard Wrestling is where you want to do it.
I think that Vanguard is right now in its like infancy. Like this
Mhm.
organization is just so beautiful. It has such an amazing venue, such amazing owners, such amazing, honestly, referees. And I don't say that a lot. They have amazing staff and talent and production. And all I want to do is just boost it up as much as I can because look what I've done with the TF crew. Look what I've done with literal scraps. Imagine what I could do with this beautiful gold necklace that is Pure Vanguard Wrestling. Look at all the dates that they have that right there, ladies and gentlemen. I will be there at every single goddamn one, whooping ass, taking names, and getting that title.
And I do want to give a shout out to my friend on X, Miss Angela Pink from the, I guess, rather cold confines of Brooklyn, New York, wanted to say she was watching the show and enjoying it on X. So she shared us on X, which is rare. I really don't get many people watching on X, but
Hey,
we're there. So thank you, Angela, for watching the show. Happy New Year. Hope you're well. And this is the schedule. Yeah, I love Pure Vanguard Wrestling. I love what has been done there. We've talked a little bit about them in the past. You're going to be here at every show, and that's the schedule. So you've got some opportunities coming up where you could add to your arsenal and add to, instead of calling you just the TF Crew World YouTube champion, we can call you a Pure Vanguard champion of some sort, and that's going to start on Valentine's Day. Boy, the irony of that, Valentine's Day is where this is going to start.
Valentine's Day, the day of love. Think about that. In like literally 2 months, I will be 1,000 days as TF Crew World Champion, and I'll be right on track to getting my way into Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And I'll tell you this, I put all my focus, all my trust, all my love, every piece of energy in my body into facing Cheeseburger this Sunday. But when that is over, the Prince is back on the road.
Well, you certainly have been a huge part of that, and I would have to, ask not to poke too much, but Randy Shawn is maybe somebody that you would have in your sights. Then I would imagine at some point this year.
I like Randy. I know he's dealing with his own thing with the Empire right now, but there's another guy who I've been thinking about who has a belt around his waist who just oh, that belt looks so good, and ooh, I forget the name of the belt, but just believe this here, I will be in the chains, and I will be the break the chains champion.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll certainly find out. And if you want to follow Pure Vanguard Wrestling, there's a few ways you can do that. Before we get to the next comment, you will not like, and you can follow Pure Vanguard Wrestling on Instagram first. Make sure you follow Pure Vanguard Wrestling on Instagram. That's not the comment, but I put that up to plug Pure Vanguard Wrestling, which we want to do. We also want to plug Pure Vanguard Wrestling on YouTube as well. So we have a YouTube link for people. So we want to make sure that people support them on YouTube. They've been generous in the past to share some of my clips on social media. We have that here. So there you go. You can see some of that content where Angel Santiago walks out on TF.
I don't like this giggling. Something's bad's
exit.
coming.
Well, Doc Holliday said he fell asleep. Did he miss anything?
Does a demon sleep? Do demons sleep?
I mean, vampires sleep during the day, right? Is that the old adage, right? To
No,
maybe
I don't know what he is though. So like he could be a hellspawn. I have no idea. I didn't know they slept. I didn't know he slept.
Well, I mean, that's what he's saying. I mean, I have to take him for his word. I mean, that's what he's saying, but he's saying that did he fell asleep?
Well, he fell asleep.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have to tell you, but he said he fell asleep. Okay, fine. We'll get on. We'll get on to different things. I mean, so obviously we're excited about some of the. I want to give you something here. I want to make sure I get this right. So I'm going to put this up on the screen. I do want to give you something. Yes, I can do that. So I'm going to share my screen. I was originally going to do it a different way, but I think it'll still come out the way you like. Especially, maybe it'll certainly make you a lot more happier. And with hopefully won't have me join the ranks of Christopher Black after what you did to him at Day of Atonement. But I'm going to share my
You've always
screen
been
now.
good.
Well, we'll have to find out. But nevertheless, it is your day here on all Sportswire radio platforms. So congratulations. Yeah, it's your day. You got to give it to you. I mean, I ain't giving it to Castor or Gabe. They're not here. You're here. I mean, they'll be here. We'll give them a day when they're here, but it's your day today. You've come on and we wanted to give you this. We'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air, and I'm sure you'll definitely enjoy it.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for this award. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you go see the fact that I'm about to be 1,000 Days as champion, and do not forget to come back to Sportswire Radio every single week.
I appreciate that. Yes, and we certainly look forward to having Gabe and Castor and some of the others here from the TF crew. We've had many of them come on here in the past. I got to ask you this question. You're probably going to chuckle if I ask it, but I had to ask it to you because New Year's just passed a few days ago. Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so we could split this into like two different places. One, a big goal for me this year is I want to produce my first big movie.
Okay.
And there will be 2 documentaries that I've been licensed to make, I've been commissioned to make, and I'm executive producing, and I'm bringing in my team right now. Those will be shot within the next few months, so you'll see probably later next year it'll hit the festival route, and then hopefully it will make it to YouTube unless it goes successful, I guess. So hopefully it doesn't go to YouTube. And then on the wrestling side, I mean, we've talked about the 1,000 days, but it's not just about that. My goal with wrestling is I just want to go to new places. I've been to Jersey, I've been to Connecticut, I've been to Pennsylvania, New York, Florida. I've been on all those places. I get it. I've been to Delaware, whatever. I want to go somewhere new. I want to go either to the Southern Championship Wrestling. I want to go to California Pro Wrestling.
SCW? I know SCW, Southern Championship Wrestling. I know SCW. Well, talk about that off the air.
I want to go to some, Georgia old school championship wrestling. I'll go to Cali. I'll go to Canada. I'll go to Puerto Rico. I want to go places.
You're the Puerto Rican prince. I mean, that's got to be an obvious one off the bat. I mean,
I will say this: there's one company in Puerto Rico that I was talking to for a while. We kind of didn't really work out.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you love to go out west, I am friends with one promoter, a guy Darryl Johnson in California. I don't know if California is one state. Well, I'll talk to him about you. I've known him for like a long time.
There's another state, Iowa, I think it is.
Oh, I heard of Iowa. But wait a minute.
It tickles me.
Well, that's funny you said Iowa, right? Because Gabe Sayers seems to be wrestling there more than in Connecticut right now these days. And he's going to be back there coming up in just under 3 weeks from now. He's going to be right. He's got 2 championships in his own right. You say Iowa, and, well, Gabe Sayers is there once again.
Yeah, I'll give Gabe Sayers this. In the land of people who majority don't have a high school education, he is their Dusty Rhodes. But
you said that, not me. You said that. I want to make sure.
I'm right though. Like, all those people cannot possibly be educated past the 8th grade, and the fact that they're cheering for Gabe Sayers and he has 2 belts, great. Whatever.
He's even got a young woman accompanying him to ringside, who's certainly an interesting.
Oh, who that is? Do you know who that is?
Well, it's Varel Crowley. She's come on here a few times, and her brother
sounds like a disease. That sounds like a disease.
Well, her brother's the Prophet Jordan Crowley, and he's on commentary for the IMF shows. And
there's no profits going on in Iowa. There is no Warren Bossing say.
You said that, not me. I'm not going anywhere near there, but you did say that.
Yeah. I'll FaceTime you when I'm there.
Well, Gabe Sayers is a big part of things there, and he is their champion. He's their IMF hardcore champion.
He's their Dusty Rhodes. He's their Dusty Rhodes for people
and on top of that, he's the All Wrestling Matters champion. But you're the guy that seems to matter in the state of Connecticut and elsewhere because you're looking at a run that will exceed 1,000 days once you would get past Cheeseburger on Sunday.
I would love to have that All Wrestling Matters belt. That thing does tickle me as well. Certain things just like tickle me where I'm like, that would be nice. But Iowa would be fun. It would kind of be like wrestling in front of a bunch of chickens. Like, they don't even know what they're watching, but they'll cluck anyway. So that should be
fun. They have big crowds like the ones you've got. A lot of people that show up there. You would be there in a different environment. They're in a new building, a new venue. Yeah. I mean, it could be something on the radar. I would love to see you at another company I would love to see you in, which is one that I have coming back on here in a week and a half from now, which is in Arizona, Thunder Mountain Wrestling. They have had crowds of, 400 or 500 people. Billy Gunn's wrestled there. Vampiro shows, Savio Vega, who I interviewed. I mean, so there's a lot of guys that are in that place. I would love, if you want to go west, I mean, I can certainly put a word in for you. I mean, you want.
Please do. Honestly,
We'll talk
Arizona
about it
State.
off the air. We'll talk about it off the air. We can
You know
definitely.
what? I think I would also love to go visit Arizona State University. Something about the education would really pull me to going to some social events, parties, Greek
Well, it's a
language.
good thing you didn't go to the Sun Bowl last week, because Arizona State blew the lead against Duke, and they wound up losing the Sun Bowl. So they didn't have the Tony the Tiger in them, because it was the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
I wasn't really looking at the players. I was more looking
Yeah.
when they did crowd shots, and I was like, that seems enticing to go there.
Well, they're the Sun Devils, and apparently they play in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, but they didn't have their Frosted Flakes, I suppose. But nevertheless,
Oh no, the Frosted Flakes were in the crowd. They were in the crowd. Don't worry.
Oh, well, it was pretty cold there, but all right. Nevertheless, I got all that. Before I get to some other thoughts on what's ahead here this Sunday, is there anything else you want to promote or plug?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a scoop right here on Sportswire Radio. For the first time, we are making this announcement public on video. The TF crew will be having our biggest event ever. Yes, I said biggest event ever at the Milford, Connecticut Post Mall. We will be having Mall Mayhem. It will be a benefit for the Boys and Girls Club of Milford. And the second that Syndicate Siege is over on Sunday, you will start to begin to get your tickets. Look at who's going to be on that card. And I'm not saying that this is the biggest card we've ever had, but I am saying it's the biggest card we ever had, the biggest venue we've ever had, and we're coming to my hometown of Milford, Connecticut.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the TF crew is about to have its biggest event yet, with its biggest wrestlers, for its biggest cause in the hometown of the man that sits a throne on top of the TF crew and beyond. It seems like Angel Santiago and the TF crew are going to infinity and beyond, because we're going to find out some more details. Where and whatever it is, you have my word that you have my support, my full endorsement, my full support. Whatever I can do, I will be a donor of that. And we look forward to promoting that. And you'll get those details after Syndicate Siege and when it'll be, what time, but it'll take place in Milford, in the Milford Mall. As a matter of fact, I know the Milford Mall. I know that mall. I know Milford because my uncle lives in. I lived in Greenwich, Connecticut. We're like, oh, we knew you were rich. I did live in Greenwich, Connecticut for a summer, so I know Milford. I can picture where that is, and you're gonna have the biggest show yet the TF crew has put on, and maybe anywhere in Connecticut.
Boss Cos will be here. Macy's will be here, and where Santa usually is, that's where the TF crew will be.
And we know the Boys and Girls show you put on in the summer. I mean, that was a huge show you guys had out there.
And think about this now. That was just for the summer camp of the Boys and Girls Club. That was us providing that for those kids, giving them that experience. Now take all those kids, give me their parents, give me the sponsors, give me everyone else in the local area. I have not wrestled in this town since I was wrestling in a backyard with a bunch of animals. And now on the biggest stage of them all, I will go in with this TF crew World YouTube Championship and absolutely dominate in front of all my friends, my family, and then better yet, all of the people who doubted me.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what, we talked a lot about legacies tonight, and it seems like Angel Santiago is about legacies inside and outside the ring. There's no question we know what's at stake this Sunday. We're going to get a few final thoughts on that, but we also now that the biggest event in TF crew history is upon us after this Sunday. And that's the biggest event in TF crew history. And that's going to take place after Syndicate Siege. We know this is going to be a benefit for the Boys and Girls Club. And it's going to take place in the Milford Mall. And this is in the hometown of the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to talk about legacies. And it seems like tonight, Angel Santiago is all about cementing his legacy inside and outside the ring. And that's why you have to follow Angel. He is on Instagram. He is on YouTube. He is on TikTok. He is on Facebook. So you have to go out there and support him. Please support those who support us. And he's been gracious alongside the TF crew. We really appreciate his time, and we want to thank him. And we want to now get to the final words that you have before this Sunday with Cheeseburger to cement your legacy. So I ask you, do you have any final words for Cheeseburger before this Sunday?
This will be the first time I'm ever addressing Cheeseburger, like actually, like, with my words instead of just typing it. Cheeseburger, if you think what's going to happen on Sunday is going to be a cakewalk, a typical indie event for you, a typical run-of-the-mill show, you're entering my territory where I am in the best shape of my entire life. I have held this belt for over 900 days. That doesn't happen by accident. I have gone into every other person's backyard and beaten them there. You are no different than any opponent I've ever faced. Not because not because you're just this overarching, boss. No. Not because I'm just putting you down, just because I'm saying that you're like everyone else I've ever faced, because you will lose. You will lose on Sunday. And when you walk out of that ring after you've lost, I will move on to the next person that's going to think the exact same thing that you are thinking right now. You woke up this morning, Cheeseburger, and you just went, oh shit, I'm facing the Puerto Rican prince. I wake up every day in this sick, sadistic brain thinking about how I'm going to fuck you up. And I'm telling you right now, I will retain my TF Crew World YouTube Championship. This belt has not left me in 900 plus days. And if you think you're going to walk into my house and eat my food, you have another thing coming. I'm going to put a bullet right between your eyes, choke your ass out, and let you get taken out of that place in an ambulance. Whoa!
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen. Angel Santiago has talked a lot on here over the years, and different people, different names, but tonight feels different. I know we've asked some of these same questions over the years. He's absolutely right. But I tell you, it hits differently tonight, because what's standing in front of Angel Santiago is a legacy. It's history. And if he beats Cheeseburger, that cements his legacy permanently. Now, like before, when we talked about different people he went up against, and maybe we didn't know, we had to sleep on him, maybe he's not the favorite, there's darlings that are out there, this guy's more of a deathmatch guy, this guy's crazy, this guy's the better overall talent. No, this is about tonight legacies. This is about legacies, and Angel Santiago knows what's at stake here. He knows that he has to beat Cheeseburger, not just to keep that TF Crew World YouTube Championship and get to that 1,000-day milestone, which very few people in our sport we know get, but it's about cementing his legacy permanently. And ladies and gentlemen, he is only 23 years old. You want to talk about legacies, right? We talked with Rad Dad. Rad Dad's not 23 years old. We were talking about Rad Dad's legacy, and Rad Dad, we knew, he even said it here on previous episodes, that he's obviously got maybe less time than he's had time in to this sport. Angel Santiago's, for all intents and purposes, just getting started. And he already has an opportunity to cement a legacy. And on top of that, he has also announced that he wants gold in Pure Vanguard Wrestling. And also, he is now putting on the biggest show in the history, not just of TF Crew, but maybe in Connecticut, in Milford, in the Milford Mall, for the Boys and Girls Club in his hometown. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at a man that knows what's in front of him, and he is ready, and that's why you need to be ready to support the TF Crew. Follow Angel Santiago and be out there if you have an opportunity this Sunday. We have a few more comments before we get to closing thoughts. And I do want to say hello to people who are out there from the state of Iowa. Ox McCoy wanted to call you princess, apparently. He's wrestling Gabe Sayers, by the way, coming up in a few. But he called you princess. You're the Puerto Rican prince. I mean, I think princess and prince.
Bro, I thought we were cool. All right, we ain't cool now. We got beef.
Well, obviously, he didn't like some of the things you said about the state of Iowa.
We got beef. Now.
He didn't like what you said about Iowa. Hello to Zilla.
Iowa sucks. Come on.
Well, you said that, not me. I love every state, all 50 states.
You know what? Maybe I'll experience it. Maybe I'll love it. I probably won't, but I'll give it a shot.
I mean, look, you got to give everybody a chance. That's the way I would say. Well, I like to see you out there, but follow Angel on Instagram. And speaking of people, there is somebody that holds 2 championships in one state that I noticed you haven't been in. That's the West Virginia. And another state you've probably passed through, Ohio. And his name is one Daniel Tafu. He wants to say 900 days. I'm a champion. Also, I'm a warrior. I am a king. And I'll let what I just did. He is the WVWF Hybrid Champion. He is also the USWA Universal Champion. He is in the same company as a guy, by the way, that wears shades like you, named Day Jameson, who, like you, has wrestled some big names. And he wrestled this guy you probably heard of. You heard of a guy named Fuego del Sol by any chance, aka KJ Orso? Well, he wears shades like you, Day Jameson. He wrestled him. You're wrestling Cheeseburger. Well, about 6 months ago, Day Jameson wrestled Fuego del Sol. KJ
Did he win?
Orso.
Did he win?
He lost.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go into a ring with Conor McGregor and let him knock me the fuck out. But I fought Conor McGregor.
Well, you know what the line people would say. Well, if I got the payday, I'll take the knockout. I mean, but obviously, look, Day Jameson, but he wrestled him. He wrestled him. And he got 3 championships. But the point was that Daniel Tafua wrestles in that man's company, and he is now calling him he is now the Prince of Chaos because he wrestled yesterday in another state, Pennsylvania, which I don't know if you've wrestled in the state of Pennsylvania, which is
times, unfortunately.
Well, a few companies I do some work with. Mon Valley Pro is one of them. But I would love to see. Maybe I should add on the itinerary of places you should show up to is maybe the state of West Virginia and the WVWF, because this guy is the WVWF Hybrid Champion, and he's wrestling 3 different people to defend his championship coming up this Saturday. So maybe if he gets past his opponents, maybe then he should find a way to meet you. And after what you do to Cheeseburger, that would certainly be a match maybe I would pay to see, because I pay to see all your other matches in the TF crew.
I think that would be a really, really solid idea. I mean, Jesus, could you imagine Vanguard, TF Crew, West Virginia, whatever company you just said? I go back to Florida and dominate again. I just dominate the whole East Coast. I'm with that. I like the plan. I like the Arizona plan too. Let's do this.
We'll talk about that off the air. Off the air, though. We'll talk about that off the air, though. We'll do that off the air. But before we go off the air, hit the sub button for Angel. He's got a lot of subscribers, and he needs to get more subscribers than the TF Crews. No, we'll get the same number. But if you are, Gabe's not going to like saying that. But yes, go out there and hit the sub button for the Puerto Rican Prince's account, and also follow him on Instagram, TikTok, and also Daniel Tafua now is going up for a 3rd championship. We were actually talking about this Friday. We have on the man named Maverick, who is going up also for the King of the Mountain Championship. So Daniel Tafua is looking for 3 championships, but we'll see. But Zilla says that you are the king of the TF crew, not even the prince. You are the king of the TF crew. So certainly some Zilla is correct. Zilla's correcting Daniel Tafua, but Doc Holliday wants to say you are a princess.
I don't want to. I feel like the more negative I let him make me feel, the stronger his darkness
he's got that
grows.
tomorrow's End Championship, which apparently tomorrow he won't be default in a few days, and I won't be defending.
No, but he's happy with that. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I make people happy. Like, he wanted a vacation. He's gonna sit at home. He's probably gonna roll himself like an evil blunt with a bunch of like souls in it, and he's gonna smoke that, and he's gonna be happy as hell. I mean, he's gonna be a happy guy. Like, he's not like I'm giving him a vacation.
Look, at some people, that's what they want. I mean, look, I'm not in the business of judging people, but nevertheless, please follow Angel. This is his day here, despite some of the comments tonight, and we expect to see Gabe Sayers and Caster on Sportswire in the coming days. So stay tuned for some updates on that tomorrow. Daniel Tafua will definitely be a topic tomorrow because I have on Godric Sandwell, another guy that you'd be an interesting competitor for. He has wrestled in Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, a number of other places. So we'll certainly see. We'll talk about that. But before we get to closing thoughts, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared for the 2026, the year of the Puerto Rican Prince. I'm going everywhere. I'm doing everything. And if you're going to remember in 20 years, you're going to remember this year of my career.
I tell you what, you have been on here, like you said, you and I were talking about this off there. You've been on here, I don't know, 5 or 6 times at this point over the years. But tonight just hits different for me. I think it's the show itself, who's on the card, your match. I just think that tonight there's a more serious tone. This is about legacies. Ladies and gentlemen. And I think Angel knows what is staring in front of him. And that is going to take place this Sunday at the Lincoln Room It's going to be in Bristol, Connecticut, which is not just home for ESPN. It's now also home for the TF crew. And the show is called Syndicate Siege. And you're going to see Angel Santiago. And Charles Barkley. That's a good point. Yeah, Charles Barkley is now technically an ESPN employee. Good
Me
point.
and him. Me and him.
There you go. But the rest of the card, in addition to the main event, you're going to see again. We'll have to stay tuned for that. The Chinnies, who I know very well, know that Corey Duke, Jeremy Lacroix definitely knows him very well. Wrecking Ball Legursky, we just talked a lot about him earlier. There is that guy. We'll talk about Castor another time. And we talked a lot about against the murder. Yeah, somebody might be getting murdered. And there's the poster itself. And you can check it out. And the show is only for $15. Think about this, right? You want to go to the movies. You want to go to listen. I went out to dinner here in New York on Friday, and I spent between my 3 friends and I about $150. You're going to spend 10 times less that much by going to the show, and you're going to have a way better time, and you're going to be with a lot of like-minded people. You got to be there if you have a chance, so please do so. I'm a sponsor of the show, and please support. Mr. Tafua wants to say before we sign off, open your mind and your red door. I'll collect, wreck, and leave. I'll see you. I'll set you free. Welcome to the wasteland. You'll never forget the name of King Tafua. So obviously he's reminding you of who he is, and you'll just do what
Oh, wait, wrong guy. No. My fault.
Stop. Okay. Said enough. Follow Angel on Instagram. Follow the TF crew on YouTube. Also, Angel has a YouTube page, and we'll certainly work on some of those places he wants to go to. We'll talk about that off the air. And Doc wants to say as the last comment, he will actually be in attendance on Sunday, by the way. He'll be in attendance.
No, you won't. No,
what if he wants to buy a ticket, though? I mean, we would turn him away.
Oh, man. I have my lawyer draft up a contract, the same contract that Gabe Sayers stupidly signed, and I said him and the other one are gone. Christopher Black, Doc Holliday, out of the arena. This guy just thinks
if Gabe is here before then, I'll talk to Gabe about that, see what he thinks. But until then, we're looking forward to Sunday, looking forward to your match. Thank you as always. Look forward to seeing you on here very soon to talk about the big show, by the way, outside of the TF. We're going to have that big show for the Boys and Girls Club in Milford. That is a very exciting development. We're very excited for everybody for that and for the community. We do great things. You guys are doing that. And my friend, Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
And looking forward to seeing what happens this Sunday. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right, that is the Puerto Rican Prince, Angel Santiago. He is, for nearly 1,000 days, the reigning defending TF Crew World YouTube Champion. He will be in action coming up here this Sunday against Cheeseburger in the main event. And he will also be in action coming up on February the 14th for Pure Vanguard Wrestling. We also announced here that we will see another big show, a big super show that TF Crew is putting on in Milford, Connecticut, the Milford Mall for the Boys and Girls Club. Stay tuned for more details afterwards. But until then, thank you so much, everybody, here for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music, all sports, and all wrestling matters. If you're here on Sportzwire, please follow and subscribe to Angel and the TF Crew pages along with ours. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio. That is Sportswire Radio, with all music and wrestling sports matters. See you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night.